National protest enters day 3. Correspondent brings situation report. Sultan of Sokoto Mohammed Saad Abubakar III urges Muslims to look out for new moon of Safar 1446 AH. Vice President Kashim Shettima assures stakeholders at 2024 Africa Caucus meeting that Nigeria is undertaking bold economic policies to propel its economy.
Africa is one of the things creativity and hope. We have made significant strides in recent years in many of our nations achieving national economic growth.
Hello and welcome to the news desk at 3 on NTA News 24. We are live in Abuja. Thank you for joining us. I am Olajide Bello. As the nationwide protest enters day 3, our correspondent Umar Jingi is at the Government House, Kaduna, to give us a situation report from that area. Hello, Umar. We understand that you are at the Government House, Kaduna. How is the government reacting to the violent protests that happened in the state?
Well, Olajide, I'm right now at the Government House, Kaduna, but before coming to the Government House, I visited the market here in Kaduna and some other places where we've seen business activities gradually picking up, with many businesses and shops open, even though some shops were still locked on key. And this is because probably the people are still monitoring the situation in town before they come out and open their business places. Unlike yesterday, the vehicular movement today in Kaduna State is huge. There was much traffic, unlike yesterday, which indicates that the return of peace completely in the state. We've not experienced any protests today in Kaduna State. At the Government House right now, and any moment from now, probably, the governor will brief the state on the situations of things and some of the proactive measures the government have taken to curtail this issue of protest, particularly the hijack of the protest by the hoodlums, where the state experienced the destruction of some property here in the state. So far, it has been calm, it has been peaceful, and people are going about their daily business activities here in Kaduna State. The security agencies were at their various duty posts. On my way coming to Government House, I saw a number of them, including the police, the civil defense, the Nigerian army personnel keeping vigil in the Kaduna metropolis to curtail any breakdown of law and order. It is generally peaceful today in Kaduna State, but we'll keep you updated of any issue that is unfolding from this end. But there is no protest in Kaduna today, and business activities are gradually picking up in the state. Hopefully, maybe the governor later will brief off on the situation of things the feelers is receiving from other local government areas in the state.
All right, Umar, just before I let you go, what about the destruction? How are there alternative or let me say measures taken in place to, like, address the infrastructures, that happened in the state?
The first day of the protest, there was destruction of some government facilities, like the Kaduna State Investment Promotion Agency, KADIPA, was touched, as well as the Castelia office was also vandalized by some of these hoodlums. These are the two major places that was touched on the day one of the protest. And since then, the security agencies are on top of their game. They are on top of the situation, taking proactive measures to ensure that they protect most of the government facilities here in Kaduna. There is no cause to worry. We've not seen anybody coming out to protest, and the security agencies are quite, you can see them, they are visible everywhere if you go around Kaduna State, trying to ensure that there is no further breakdown of law and order, particularly some of the government facilities, like where I am now, the government house. Before you get in to come to this place, you will pass more than 3 to 4 checkpoints because the security agencies have barricaded most of the route that these protesters on day one trying to gain access. You know, they attempted to gain access to the government house on the day one, even though they were resisted by the security agencies. So security is being on ground here, SOL 45 here on ground. So there is no any cause for alarm.
All right, many thanks, Umara Jingi, for keeping us up to speed with happenings from Kaduna State. Many thanks for your thought. Lagos State remains calm and peaceful with protesters, though fewer than first and second day gathered against the Freedom Park, Jota, at the designated area for the protest. Hingino John Adams report that business activities are yet to hit full peak.
It's day 3, and these protesters are back to the Freedom Park in Ojota, where they have been demonstrating since the 1st of August. The presence of security operatives is still visible in a bid to protect the protesters, members of the public, and infrastructure, as well as ensure that peace is maintained. At some point, the protesters insisted on marching beyond the Freedom Park, but the police remain resolute on its stance that they restrict activities to the designated points of the protest. The situation was properly managed as cordiality between the protesters and personnel of various security agencies was the order of the day. A drive round town shows that normalcy is gradually returning, with more vehicles plying the roads and increased presence of people going about their business activities. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Security personnel dispersed agitated protesters that converged at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja, on the third day of the nationwide protest. The protesters, mostly youth who started gathering at the stadium early morning, became too agitated and confrontational for the security personnel, who were forced to disperse them canisters early. Earlier, the DCP Operations FCT Command and Patrol addressed the protesters, telling them to be law-abiding and security formations are only out to ensure peace.
My name is DCP Isiakushero. I'm the DC Operations FCT Police Command. So even right from the first day they came here, we've been with them. The only thing that we are asking them, since they insisted that they would not enter the stadium, that this place is part of the premises, we give them the much needed protection, but we told them that they should make sure that the road is clear for the other users.
Meanwhile, security is beefed up at the stadium while other patrol vehicles moving around the Federal Capital Territory city to maintain law and order. And in Jigawa, let's join Awal Kazaure, who is on standby for more updates on the protest. Awal, we hear that some people have been arrested and paraded in Jigawa in connection with the violent protest that happened in the state. Can you keep us up to speed with this development?
Hello, good afternoon. Actually, the Commissioner of Police in Jigawa State, A.T. Abdullahi, has briefed the press that they have so far arrested over 200 people and have prosecuted over 70. And first time such happenings are happening in Jigawa State, and the security are on top of the situation, and everything by now is under control.
All right, Awal, can you give us an update as regards the curfew?
Yes, there is a curfew that was imposed, 24 hours curfew. And the people are really really cooperating, because all major streets are dry streets. No people, no moving around. Only security agencies are seen in strategic locations.
Okay, can you tell us a bit about maybe the level of destruction and measures taken so far?
Actually, a lot of stores have been broken, especially where government used to keep, especially fertilizers and other palliatives that are meant for the people. In Dutse, there are some shops in Dutse, some in Brununkudu, some in Hadeja, some in Gumel, and even some houses were burnt, especially individual houses.
All right, many thanks, correspondent there, Awal Kazauri, for your inputs.
Commissioner of Information, who will brief us on the security situation. Sir, is go ahead. The Commissioner of Information, Sagir Musa, is here with me. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. And generally, the security situation in Jigawa State is relatively calm since the announcement of the curfew of 24 hours in Jigawa State. There is relatively peace in the state, and the security agencies are quite doing their best in the state to ensure that there is peaceful coexistence throughout the state. We have no any incident of security breach across the state, except few instances which the security agents are really on top of it. So we thank God to Almighty Allah for making it possible for us to at least have this relative peace in Jigawa State after the incident of 1st August 2024.
So thank you. Sir, what about the issue of relaxing the curfew? People are really...
Yes, that I can tell you we are doing our best. Since the incident, the security agencies are meeting with His Excellency almost on a daily basis to review the security situation. And so far from what we have seen, we have received authoritative report from the various security agencies where they have made arrests of over 200 people and about 70 people were already taken to court. And we hope and pray when we meet today to review the situation, there's huge possibility for us to be able to relax the curfew for some hours to be able to ensure that people have go back to their normal businesses, inshallah.
So out of the issue of those arrested, what is the state government going to do with them?
I think the state government is doing this best. You know, arrest is coming from the security agencies, and there's also courts around to see how we can be able to at least look at the situation and be able to come up with the situation. So that's what is happening. Because when the police make an arrest, and then they'll pass it to the court, and the court will do their best to see how they can be able to review the situation.
So, sir, what is your message to the people of the state?
So I think we give glory to Almighty Allah for making it possible for us to be able to at least achieve this relative peace in Jigawa State. And I want to use this opportunity on behalf of the Governor of Jigawa State to thank the residents of Jigawa State for the cooperation received by the different component of the state, particularly the traditional institutions. The ulamas have been really done well during the prayer yesterday to be able to do a sermon that will touch the lives of our people and to be able to see reason for them to embrace peace. Jigawa State is well known in terms of peace and stability, and we were not happy with what happened, but it's all over the country, so we give glory to Almighty Allah for making it possible for us at least to maintain back peace in Jigawa State by the putting curfew for 24 hours in Jigawa State.
So how do you feel that this is the first time such is happening in Jigawa State?
No, it is unfortunate, but when you look at what happened, it's something that you can't say exactly what happened, but we will do our best, inshallah, to review the situation to be able to see the causes, get to the root of all this thing, because it's very unlike us in Jigawa State to witness this, but it happens this time around. And when you look at what happened generally around the northwest Nigeria, you see that it's not only Jigawa State, so it's something that we can, but part of the report we are receiving, most of the culprits that have been able to come to Jigawa State are people from outside that just come to create such a chaotic situation in Jigawa State. But we give glory to God for making it possible for us to at least to curtail all the excesses of these vices that have come to Jigawa State. Inshallah, we'll do our best to review, and we'll do our best, inshallah, as a government to be able to take measures against such incidents.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We now go back to Olajide Bello. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Awal Kazaure, and to the commissioner there for keeping us up to speed. You're watching the news desk at 3 on NEWS24. More reports will return.
Nigeria, a land of rich culture and diverse voices, where every voice matters. In times of disagreement, let's choose dialogue over discord. Together, we can find solutions through understanding and respect. Let's build a stronger Nigeria, one conversation at a time. Dialogue, not protest. Unity, not division. Nigeria, united in dialogue.
Thanks for being there. The Minister of State for Labour and Employment in Kiruka Nyejota has urged protesters to call off the nationwide exercise as she commiserated with the families of those who lost their lives in the process. The minister briefed journalists in Abuja where she explained that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a leader has a listening ear and is working assiduously to address the issues raised by the protesters. She reeled out some of the steps already taken by the president to improve the lives of Nigerians.
I plead that we should sheath our sword and embrace peace and stop at this moment. The president has had everybody loud and clear. You see, he's done a lot of things, starting from few days ago that 70 days minimum wage bill was signed into law, meaning he's gone ahead to make sure that the CNG is also coming on board. The other day, the FEC approved that the petroleum products, the transaction will be dealt in Naira. The president announced the injection of 2 trillion into the economy to be spent in 6 months for rapid stabilization. Of course, the country have secured a landmark victory on local government autonomy, which will help the local government system.
The minister described the ongoing public announcement for job vacancies in the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited as historic and as part of President Tinubu's commitment to ensure transparency and fair play in employment opportunities in the country. In the wake of the disturbing dimension that the nationwide protests have taken in various parts of the country, a group, the Concerned Nigerian Youth for Good Governance, has withdrawn from participating in any further protest. At a media briefing in Abuja, the group warned against any further protest as these could lead to further destruction and chaos. We recognize that the whole purpose of the protest has been defeated and what is now being seen is unsavory characters running amok on the streets and taking advantage of the situation to commit crimes.
We can see the results in some of the parts of the country, which a peaceful protest has turned out to be something else that led to looting, vandalizing of government properties. Even our fellow Nigerians who have their own shops, their shops are being vandalized. So we want to announce ourselves pulling out from the ongoing protest and appeal to us and other youth organizations to shun the protests and embrace dialogue.
Sultan of Sokoto and President General Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs Muhammad Saad Abubakar III urges Muslims in Algeria to start looking for the new moon of Safar 1446 AH tomorrow. A statement signed by the Chairman Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council Sokoto, Professor Sambo Wali Junaidi, says Sunday 4th August 2024 is equivalent to 29th Muharram 1446 AH, is therefore called on the Muslim Ummah to start looking for the new crescent and report the sighting of the nearest district or village heads for onward communication to the Sultan. The Nigerian government is undertaking bold economic policies to propel the country's economy out of the downturns occasioned by multiple shocks in the global economy. President Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, stated these when he declared open the 2024 African Caucus meeting in Abuja. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
We
invite you in this meeting to see the African mandatory financial institutions as key channels for enhanced domestic resource mobilization.
This meeting with representatives from all Africa member countries of the International Monetary Fund and World Bank Group aims to address key economic issues facing the continent, with a focus on promoting trade within Africa to foster sustainable development. Nigeria called for cooperation among African countries to tackle their shared economic challenges and take advantage of the opportunities.
This Caucus offers a vital platform for us to share experiences, forge partnerships, and chart a collective path forward. Africa's story is one of resilience, creativity, and hope. Indeed, we have made significant strides in recent years, with many of our nations achieving remarkable economic growth, social progress, and political stability.
Facilitating intra-African trade, catalyst for sustainable development in Africa, countries on the continent must take necessary measures to translate opportunities in natural resources and human capital into growth, innovation, and collaboration.
It's time to tackle the root causes, and much of that lies in the international financial architecture. Access to our economies must be had to long-term concessional funding. Others have had it, and it is Africa's turn to be given that right to grow and to prosper for its people. We have the opportunity to drive change, and by doing so, progress towards a vibrant and sustainable future.
The role of regional trading blocs can play in getting member countries to synchronize their reforms and investments necessary to boost intra-continental trade. While these strategies are commendable, it is important that we move beyond theoretical discussions and actively translate them into tangible actions.
The demographics of Africa present tremendous economic potential that must be cultivated to take advantage, particularly of intra-African trade opportunities, and to transform and develop our economies and our region.
This is also an opportunity to brainstorm on major challenges and strategies for fostering inclusive growth and sustainable development in Africa, reflecting the collective commitment of member countries to moving the continent forward economically. In Abuja, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
The federal government and key players in health security are discussing means of addressing the funding gap of about $200 million in Nigeria's immunization program to reduce the risk of vaccine shortage, which is a threat to citizens' well-being, especially children. This was at the agenda at a multi-stakeholder forum on optimizing immunization financing in Nigeria, initiated by the Vaccine Network for Disease Control in Abuja. Oluseyi Adeagbo reports.
In records from Nigeria's budget office, the financial requirement for the country's immunization program stands at $580 million, while the Nigerian public sector contributes less than $200 million. International donors assist with about $230 million, leaving $200 million funding gap unaddressed. The lack of industrial infrastructure, sufficient storage and logistics capacities has also affected Nigeria being self-sufficient in vaccine production, and these continue to jeopardize national progress in controlling infectious diseases, leaving vulnerable population, especially children, at risk of vaccine-preventable diseases.
Children's death is wasteful, costly, and impacts on generational economic loss to the Nigerian economy.
For the Director General Budget Office, the current administration is working out modalities to close the funding and capacity gaps in national immunization programs.
The Federal Ministry of Health is working to give the country the industrial capability to produce all the critical ranges of immunization vaccines.
If we spend more on vaccines and immunization, we'll be able to spend less on curing diseases. And that means we gain more money to spend on other sectors.
And we're looking at three parts. The funding for 2023, immunization budget that has not yet come out, how that will come out. The one for 2024, how that will come out. And lastly, to stop all these things is to see whether we can start to talk about first-line charge for financing immunization.
These advocates of children and women's health care at this meeting say these joint efforts offer hope that Nigeria can overcome the current orders and establish a more sustainable immunization program. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
And that concludes the news desk at 3 and NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. Olajide Bello.